Before I start the video, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, click the like button and leave comments in the comment section. Today, I'm going to be discussing the firestorm that swept over social media earlier this week when it was revealed through a teaser trailer drop that indeed Steve Rogers is coming back in Doomsday. For most of the people that are sort of in the know and have been paying attention, this comes as no surprise. Chris Evans has made some appearances recently, and he's looked like he's in really good shape, i.e. he's in Captain America shape. And eventually I expect him to reclaim his shield and once again don the uniform of Captain America. And basically the reason why is because Clarence, although he is a good Black Falcon, he was a lousy Captain America. And the proof is in the bomb that was Captain Not America, Hand Me Down, Brave New World Order. That was a huge bomb at the box office and will probably lose the Bob Iger company around $250 million when we get the real production costs next year from Caroline Reed at Forbes. Now, all you petulant, whiny, blue-haired, septum ring freaks can whine and kvetch all you want that, oh, they're taking away Black Captain America. Oh, we finally got what we wanted. And you know what? The studios don't care. The studios only care about making money. And guess what Black Captain America didn't do? It didn't make money. And there's been other versions of Captain America in the comics. Bucky Barnes took the shield. John Walker took the shield. Sam Wilson took the shield. And several others that I'm not even going to go into. But they all have one thing in common. They all failed. And eventually they brought back Steve Rogers because Steve Rogers is Captain America. The one and only. And that's why Marvel is bringing him back. They were probably thinking before this year that perhaps they could use Black Captain America and the creepy internet uncle as Reed Richards, and that was going to be your leads for Doomsday. They were going to be the leaders. Well, turns out that not only did Black Captain America fail, but Fantastic Four Girl Bosses bombed too. Because the creepy internet uncle isn't a lead. He can't carry a movie. And this has got to have KK freaking out at Lucasfilm because he's going to be leading the Mandalorian and Grogu next May. And that movie, in my opinion, probably won't clear $400 million. I think it's DOA. Star Wars is DOA. I mean, actually, they're a little bit worse than DOA. They're like digging up the corpse and doing things to it at this point. So, good luck with that, Lucasfilm. Good luck with the creepy internet uncle. And if you want proof of everything that I've been saying about Phases Bore and Phase Dive and Phase Deep 6, which is what we're in so far, I've got a little bit of proof that it has been a failure. And here we have, broken down by phases, how much money each phase made, and what movies were included. And the first one, of course, the big one was Phase 3. And it included Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, which currently stand as the second and seventh most profitable movies at the box office in the history, not adjusted for inflation. The only problem I have here is we got probably two movies that don't belong in here. We got Spider-Man Far Away From Home, and we have Homecoming. Those were Sony productions. I don't count them as part of the MCU. So if you basically knock $2 billion off of there, you still got $11 billion over 9 movies. That's still averaging over $1 billion a movie for Phase 3. With the only real marginal movie being Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and maybe Doctor Strange. I guess those two may have not made money. I never looked into how much they cost to produce. But once you get beyond that, I mean, say what you will about Ragnarok, it still made money. Guardians 2 definitely made money. And then you get into the $1 billion club. Next phase was Phase 4. 7 movies, $5.7 billion. Problem I have with that is $2 billion of that belongs to Spider-Man No Way Home, which again, I contend is not an MCU movie. It is a Sony movie. That's like saying Madam Web is an MCU movie, and we all found out what happens when you assume, right? Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney. Oops. So if I knock 1.9 billion off of that, we get 3.8 billion for 6 movies. That's horrible. I mean, look at this. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Black Widow. None of them made $500 million. None of them made half of the average of Phase 3. Next, we go into Phase 2. $5.2 billion, 6 movies. Even if I throw Spider-Man No Way Home back in there, Phase 2 averaged better per movie than Phase 4. And, you know, Ant-Man, Dark World, yeah, I guess you could say they didn't do so well at the box office. Winter Soldier, which is arguably the best Captain America movie. I mean, some people love it. I realize a lot of people love Civil War. Winter Soldier was still great. The original Guardians of the Galaxy, 770, that's great for the first in 3 movies. And then, of course, you got Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron, which both broke the billion barrier. Like I said, average movie, Phase 2 did better than Phase 4, not adjusted for inflation. Now, you get to Phase 1, $3.8 billion, 6 movies. This started 17 years ago, folks. And, of course, the big one, what everything in Phase 1 was building up to. Yes, the Incredible Hulk. I don't even know if I would call that fine. I guess it was the MCU, but come on. It's definitely not connected to anything else in here. Captain America, Thor, Iron Man 2, all building up to Avengers, $1.5 billion. And then we get to Phase Dive, $3.6 billion. It didn't beat Phase 1 or Phase 2, not adjusted for inflation. And I actually have a problem here because this is going to get a little bit worse because Deadpool and Wolverine was a Fox. That was Fox. Sorry. Yes, maybe they had bought out Fox at that point. This was still a Fox production. And by the way, we just found out that Deadpool and Wolverine didn't really make any money. So what a gut punch. You get 1.3 billion at the box office and you get no profit. It didn't make any money. Thanks again to Caroline Reed for producing the real numbers on what it costs to produce Deadpool and Wolverine, and what a disaster. Honestly, the only movie in here, and it only marginally made money, and maybe it didn't if I'm remembering right. I know we got the real numbers on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and it was a lot more, as usual, than what the Bob Iger company told us. And 845 million, and it probably didn't make a profit. And the rest of these, I mean, Quantum Mania, Brave New World Order, Thunderdolts, and last but not least, the crater that was the Marvels. And if you want to throw Phase Deep 6 into everything, you get 521 million. I think that's where Fantastic Four Girl Bosses ended up. And the other funny thing is we just got the streaming numbers for Fantastic Four Girl Boss. Worst streaming numbers of any Marvel movie on Disney minus. Worst streaming numbers ever. Nobody wanted to watch this shit on streaming. And remember, the Marvels are on streaming. More people wanted to watch the Marvels than wanted to watch Black Captain America, Not America, Hand Me Down, Brave New World Order. What a gut punch. What a gut punch. And this was supposed to be the only thing that is leading into Doomsday. There is just no interest in this anymore. It is just going to be awful. I think this movie is going to be so front-loaded. Doomsday is going to be so front-loaded. It's going to look like it's going to take off. It's probably going to get 300 million-ish worldwide the first weekend. By the way, I also don't think it's going to release at Christmas next year. I think they're going to bump it because you got Doomsday Messiah coming out at the same time, and that is an IMAX ambassador movie, so they're going to have all the big screens. Bob Iger company is going to be stupid to run it in against that, so I think it's going to get bumped. I'm betting Memorial Day 2027. And there's just going to be this huge cooling off. Like I said, it probably gets 300 million the first weekend, and then it just craters. I'd see this thing probably 600-700 million. It won't cover anywhere near the 700 million this thing is probably going to cost to produce. Another 250 million in marketing. Hell, this thing may go to 300 million. They're already marketing it a year out, a year plus out. They've already got 4 trailers. Also trying to boost Avatar. So they're releasing a different trailer for the first 4 weeks of Avatar. Are they really scared that Avatar Fire and Ass is not going to perform well? And this is how they're trying to get more people in the theaters? By the way, I'm not going to spend $60+ to go see 4 different trailers and see a movie 4 times. That's just absurd. I hope there's nobody that retarded in the world that is going to do that, but you never know. Like I said, I don't think this movie's going to make more than 600 million. I really don't. And it's going to be a huge loss. It's not going to be the reanimating of the MCU. It's a bunch of dangling keys. I think people are tired of it. I don't think they're going to fall for it. And we're going to see the end of the MCU. I think if these movies don't each make $1 billion, which will still be catastrophic losses, but at least it would show there's some interest left, I think the whole thing gets scrapped. I think Feige's out of a job finally. He should have been out of a job in 2019. They fired the wrong person. They should have fired Feige and kept Ike Perlmutter. They wouldn't have any of this problem. They would have never had the MCU, which has basically destroyed Marvel. And this is what happens when you leave someone with no guardrails. You know, say what you will about the prequels with George Lucas. Some people like them. Most people, well, and especially after the sequels, I guess people more appreciate them now. But George Lucas didn't have any guardrails left, and the result was the prequels. After Ike Perlmutter was fired, Kevin Feige didn't have any guardrails left. What we got was Phase 4, Phase Dive, and the beginning of Phase Deep 6. I don't think he can pull this back. He's not a talent. He's a hack. And like I said, I think this is going to be all said and done after these two movies don't perform the way they need to. And I'm not even saying there's no way they're profitable. I'm just saying they're not going to perform. They're not going to get to $1 billion. And it's going to be over. I really think they're going to be done. I think they're going to shelve the whole thing. Feige's going to get kicked in the ass, shown the door, you know, whatever you want to say. But I think it's going to be all over. I really think that it's done. And same thing with Star Wars. All these projects that they're talking about, after The Mandalorian Grogu bomb next year, I think there's going to be a huge halt at Lucasfilm. And Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired. They're not going to call it that, but that's what's going to happen. And then that's all going to sit there, and they're not going to do anything else with it. Because it's all dead. And they realize it, and they're tired. I think they're tired of losing money on it. Lord knows I'm tired of seeing the same old shit over and over again. And I'm going to leave it right there. So like my father told me when I was 18 years old, get out.